You're watching the number one podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, and I'm your host, Jean Paul Leek, and this is Rope Break. Family, how's it going today? Flying solo again. Juan's helping me out on Monday Night Raw, so I told him, you know what, take the day off. He's going to see a concert. That's badass. We hope you have a good time. We love you, baby. But, here we are, NXT UK, and, our favorite show, solid show again this week. We saw a fantastic match to open the show. And we saw some good stuff for the mid card, the Heritage Cup, all that great stuff. And we saw a fantastic main event with, the knockout or submission match between Joe Coffey and Rampage Brown. So great episode of NXT UK. And of course, make sure you check out all the previous content this week. Juan covered Monday Night Raw. Beautiful job. Go check that out. Of course, we have NXT and AEW. And here we are. So let's get into the review. So the show started with Eva Valkyrie and Ginny, and that was with Joseph Connors in the steel cage or the shark tank or like whatever you want to call it. He was in there. And I mean, this match was good because, Ginny, she jump started the thing. She no entrances, whatever. She jump started there, boom, 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 start beating her up and everything. Then the match gets going. They start using the steel chairs and the weapons and everything. Not like kendo sticks, but the steel chairs. Go to the outside, used I think she took like a laptop or something and whacked her with it, but they didn't spend too much time outside. A little bit. Boom, back in the ring, set up a table. It was, who's going to go through the table, counter the table suplex with a suplex just on the floor, everything. Eventually, Valkyrie, she was setting up to do the leg drop through the table, but Ginny moved out of the way. So Valkyrie just went through it. Some more stuff back in the ring and everything. Eventually, Valkyrie was just really selling the leg, but eventually, the chair's in the ring. She picks it up, hits a really vicious looking driver onto Ginny, onto the chair. 1, 2, 3. So the winner is Eva Valkyrie. Great match to open the thing. Really intense, the way that the women hit each other and stuff. I think it was a really good match. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. So then we see, backstage a segment with Mel. She confronts Mako Satomura. She said, listen, I was this close to beating you. Is bullshit. I want another chance. Amelia McKenzie kind of steps in, and she was actually being interviewed beforehand about, how training is going and everything with Mako. So she steps in and it's like, and then Mel's like, what? Like, I got to go through Mako's pet project, to get another title shot. Fine. If I have to, beat you up, because she was made some line about like, get out of here, little girl, grown women are talking, go play somewhere else and stuff. So you see the disrespect. I'm looking forward to that match. So then we see a Heritage Cup #1 contender tournament, Oliver Carter, and he had Ashton Smith in his corner versus Kenny Williams. And this was pretty good. The right winner here in Kenny Williams. And this didn't go too long. I didn't think this would go to round 6 or anything. Round 1, kind of just a feeling out process, really had Oliver Carter look strong, look dominant. This is a new direction for him. They're going to focus on, this guy's legit. He's not just a smiley, guy in the tag team. No, he can actually be badass. And he's a good wrestler. I've been putting him over, for the longest time. I think he's a lot of talent. But then in the second round, because Oliver Carter does have like the dreadlocks, Kenny Williams uses that. He ties it up in the ropes in the second round. And eventually he, starts beating him up, big kicks. But then Carter comes back, he gets on the momentum, but, sunset flip, 1, 2, 3. Kenny Williams gets the first fall. Then in the third round is when Oliver Carter ties it up. He hits pretty much just like a big Superman, like forearm, and then like a clothesline. Just really takes him out. I didn't think that was actually going to be it looked brutal, but I didn't know that was his finisher. Like I said, this is kind of a new direction. We're finding out what this dude's finisher is and everything. He hits that, so he ties it up. But then in the third round, after again, we see a lot of good offense and momentum from Oliver Carter. Williams, he grabbed a little water bottle that they drink from. It's like metal in between each round. And then he had that under his arm. He pulled off the turnbuckle pad, threw it in the ring. The ref's like, what the hell is this? He used the water bottle, boom, knocked out Carter. He scores his second pinfall to advance in the tournament. So some really good stuff there. So then we see Nina Samuels. She meets with Sid Scala and she asks for a match before Sid tells Nina that her opponent next week will be Blair Davenport, because she's like, you know what? It's fine. I don't care who my opponent is. NXT UK just needs more Nina Samuels. And he's like, okay, Blair Davenport. So then she closes the door, screams, because she knows Blair's going to kick her ass. So then we see another vignette for Isla Dawn, and she's unveiling a box, pretty much just takes pieces from everybody. She's like, oh, she had Danny Luna's hair from last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was. And then she had I believe it looks like a watch. Yeah, I think it's the watch from Amelia McKenzie. So she's collecting all this stuff. And it's like, what is she going to do with it? To me, it's like really creepy. I feel like this is, hopefully some really long-term booking where they're going to put her over and stuff. Unfortunately, this is done well, but then we see the really bad done creepy stuff on Monday Night Raw. So it kind of kills it here a little bit, but I wish I could just snap my fingers and forget about Monday Night Raw. But anyway, then we see a video package for Tio Man and Nathan Frazier for the Heritage Cup. This is really good. I'm a big fan of both these guys. It sucks. I wish this was the finals. I wish, one of them was the Heritage Cup champion and the other one was winning it. But unfortunately, it's the first round, the end of the first round. It's hard I really want Tio Man to win unless you're going to push him and Raja in a tag team, then definitely go that direction. But, I still really enjoyed this vignette, everything they said. Tio Man's like, you fight for nothing. You're bullshit. I fight for my family. Frazier's like, hey, I fight for my family too. You don't know who I am, how I struggled as well. All this stuff. People told me I wouldn't make it and everything. So really good. I'm really looking forward to this match. So then we see, they show a graphic, everything, the breakdown. Like I said, that's the final match of the first round. So then we get the knockout or submission match, Joe Coffey versus Rampage Brown. And this match was great. I was actually scared because I'm like, okay, knockout or submission, is that also no DQ? Or can they, and then in the match, they did say, oh, there's no disqualification. So it's like, okay, I was worried that they were going to use the chairs and the tables and all the other garbage too, kind of like in the first match. So it's like, is anybody going to care what they do in this match? Because we already seen it in the first match. Thankfully, they didn't do anything like that. I mean, they did go to the outside. Joe Coffey hit a dive. He barely hit it, but hey, he still hit it though. And, he took out Rampage Brown. They fought on the outside a little bit, like I said, but mostly back in the ring. And Coffey sold the arm a lot, his hand. He went to like punch Rampage Brown, but he punched the rope. So that kind of started selling the hand, big suplexes, everything. He hit a big Rampage Brown, hit a big backdrop driver off the top rope. That really, kind of changed the momentum. Both guys were down. This was, at least 20 minutes into the match already. But they're like, then they're back to back and they're talking to each other like, what, we're not being bullshit. We're getting up. We're going to finish this like men. They help each other up. Boom. They start slugging it out, which that I was like, it wasn't as obnoxious as we see in other matches, but I never liked that when they're like, hey man, let's go do this. I feel like, that's a whole mark thing, but anyway, then they help each other up and start slugging it out, beating the shit out of each other. And, that was really good. And then eventually, he just hits the doctor bomb. He hits all his off. Well, actually, Coffey, he hit like the best for the bells, Glasgow send off, all that stuff. But obviously, no pinfall. So then they just check on Brown. He's like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. And then they continued the match and everything. Then, Rampage Brown hit a bunch of his offense, doctor bomb, everything. And then he had Coffey just laying on the mat and just started hammering his head, boom, boom, boom. The ref picked up his arm, fell over like a limp noodle, and he's like, I'm calling it. And the winner is Rampage Brown. So this was a great match. Like I said, it didn't, the opening match didn't hurt this one at all. This was completely different. It was no DQ, but they didn't use any weapons. It felt like its own entity. And this is really what a no DQ match should be. It doesn't have to be, oh, let's get out a table, let's get out chairs. No, it can just be, you can beat the hell out of each other without the ref breaking it up. So, this was good. I enjoyed this. Rampage Brown, I think, is the right winner. It sucks because Joe Coffey has never been the champ. He's always been like right there. He's always been so close. But, I think Rampage Brown is, like they said, he's the older guy. Maybe he, don't have, most of his career is probably behind him than ahead of him. So, push him and, let him have that main event spot for a little bit. So, again, really good episode of NXT UK. Really looking forward to this stuff we're going to see next week. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. And what's coming up tomorrow, and that's Rampage, and the Friday Night SmackDown review. We're going live, baby. So, make sure you guys are ready at 11 o'clock on the dot, because we will be. So, make sure follow us on all our social medias as well. And that's Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, the original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok. And of course, right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community. So we will see you guys tomorrow at 11. Remember, get ready. Rope Break's going live, baby. So we have one thing left to say.